Hey everybody, this is Rich Fontaine with Daily Motivation on Facebook Live. And I love these collections. I'm going to probably put these on YouTube after I finish my 365. So, how's everybody doing today? I hope you're doing well on this Friday evening, TGIF, right? And I hope everything's working well for you in your careers, in your relationships, and in your life. And I hope this message served you well. And if it does, please like, please share, please comment, please tell your friends about it so we can keep doing these videos because these informations come to me, not to hoard, but to share. And all I want to do is just share this information because hopefully it will change your life like it changed mine. Now, this one I feel like is so important. This is actually a concept that I've been pondering out for a very long time of why reading is so important. And why do so many people don't like reading? And it reminds me of history class when during the 1800s, during slavery, it was literally illegal for an African American to read books, to be educated. It was literally illegal, meaning that they could be hung, they'd be flogged, or their master would be arrested if they educated their slaves. Why? It's a great question. And why so many people, especially in the African American community, don't read, don't educate themselves, don't go for higher learning. Even I have family members that I have two cousins that didn't get their GED, didn't even graduate out of high school, and they never read books. I remember the first time I was sitting with my cousin, he was like, Rich, I'm really struggling just in life, financially, knowing what I'm going to do, how I'm going to pursue my life. I have no girls, I have a daughter that I can't take care of, all these things. And I told him, you should read my book, Destiny on Purpose. I have 20 laws in there that if you can master these 20 laws, you will instantly see your life change. And he said, man, I got to read 20 things out of a book? So what he's saying is his life's not worth it. His life's not worth it. To me, when I was struggling, the very first time, I was down and out. I was at my lowest point, and my sister handed me a book. And she said, maybe you should read this. And at first, I was taken back. I was like, I'm going through real life troubles, and you want me to read? Like, really? I don't want to read. But she says, well, if nothing else is happening for you, maybe this will help. And so I was so down and out, I said, you know what? I'll just try. I'm willing to try anything. So I read the book, and this book changed my life forever. I remember reading it when I was still working at a jewelry store in retail, and I was reading it in the break room, and one of my coworkers came to me and said, Rich, what are you reading? And I said, well, it's a book on how to get what you want out of life, how to make life work for you versus you working for life and being a victim and just being subservient to what life gives you and how to master your life. And he laughed and said, that's not true. That's never going to happen. And I remember 2 years from that point, 2 years later, I opened my performance for the East Side. My very first book, The East Side, came out. And I started going around speaking about it, and things started getting some success on it. And he was literally shocked. He was like, that's BS. You don't really have a book out. I'm like, yeah, I have a book out. It's right here. It's called The East Side. He's like, no, that's not true. He just couldn't believe it that we started at the same level. But how did I quantum leap up to a higher level when we started at the same place? And the only way I could tell him is because of what I learned from the books that I read. And the reason why it was illegal for a master to teach or educate their slaves, for African American to be educated and to read books, why it was illegal, because they know, as the slave masters know, that that information will catapult their awareness and their consciousness. So that's number one reason why reading books is so important. It opens up your awareness and your consciousness of what's happening around you. See, I remember when I got into trouble, I was arrested many years ago, and I had to do community service for disturbing the peace. And I was in Good Homes, and I saw a book right there in the little library at Good Homes, or Goodwill, and I pulled the book out, and the book was titled, How to Create a Slave. How how to create a slave. I mean, there's literally a book on how to create a slave, and my mind's blown. I'm like, really? Like, this is a real book? Like, how is this even legal? And I'm reading through the pages of this book, and my eyes finally opened. My eyes finally opened. Now I got it. Why do they want not to educate you? They say ignorance is bliss, but ignorance is control. You're easily controlled when you don't know what you don't know. I remember I took a class for real estate, and the guy quoted some government agent. I forgot the guy's name, but he said, we make money from the ignorance of the American people. This is right there in town hall. I mean, he's saying this recorded. This is on YouTube. He says, we get paid. We make money. We make millions of dollars from the ignorance of the American people. So the more you don't know, the more you are easily controlled. But it's the Frederick Douglasses of the world, the Martin Luther Kings of the world, the Malcolm X. Malcolm Little read tons of books. That's why he turned into Malcolm X. From the education, the concept, the awareness, they started to grow his consciousness. He said, oh, we've been hoodwinked. We've been puzzled. I see it now. But before, he was just part of the community. He just thought, hey, I'm just rolling with everyone else because I don't know what I don't know. So the reason why books are so important, one, it opens up your awareness. Two, it reduces stress in your life. Because when you understand how life works, you know how to play the game. There's a book called The Game of Life and How to Play It. And life is a game. When you read the book, you realize, wow, life is a game. And it has its own laws, and it has its own rules, and it has its own concepts on how to operate. But if you don't know the rules, it's like you going to play basketball, but you don't know what a pick and roll is, you don't know what a foul is. They're like, yo, you suck, get off the court. And then you'll feel bad about yourself. Oh, I'm terrible at basketball. No, you're just terrible because you don't know the rules. You don't know the concepts. You don't know the ideas. But the problem is, do you know who reads books and who doesn't read books? That's where you have to see. Did you know 95% of the wealth in this country is owned by 5% of the population? If that doesn't blow your mind, I don't know what will. That 95% of the wealth in the economy in this country is owned by only 5% of people. Who reads books? The top Fortune 500 companies, the top CEOs, the top earners of this country read 60 books a year. The average American reads one. So 5% knows what's going on. They know how to invest. They know where to put their money. They know how to have relationships. They know about commitment. They understand how the concept of law of attraction and reality works. They understand it. That's how they can manipulate it and use it to their advantage. While 95% are still wondering what the hell is going on. And it didn't hit me until I started reading books. And my life changed for all these concepts. Like, I read books from the top in their field. That's the only people I follow. Who's top in their field. Not mediocre, not okay, but tops in their field. I read their books, their biographies, what they write about, their articles, everything, their interviews. I'm a success nerd. Why? Because I wanted to know how I get from where I am to where they are. And they write it in books, but most people don't read them. So when I push people on books, it's not because I want to sell my own books. You don't have to buy my book. Buy somebody else's book. It doesn't matter to me. But if you don't open up your awareness, you're going to be a victim for the rest of your life. And if you don't open up the less stress, you're going to be sick and you're going to die early. Why? Because when you read books, you have knowledge, your stress goes down because, okay, I'm more aware and now I know. I don't just think, I know what I'm doing. I understand what's happening around me. Now I can operate in that field. But if you don't educate yourself, if you're not always learning, that was my mentor told me when I first out of college. I said, I want to be a project manager. I want to be, the best in the field. He said, okay, you have to read books. And probably like you, I was taken back, read books, man. I want to, I want to get some, I want to be the best in my field. He said, you have to read. Because 90% of the engineers that graduate out of this college think just because they have technical knowledge, they'll be successful. But it's the 10%, the few percent that up their education that you'll be working for. So when I was a kid, many people like, if you read books, you're a nerd, you're a geek, you know, you're lame. But I'm gonna tell you something. Those nerds run this world. So you'll end up working for that nerd. Because I promise you, the person that owns the business, the person that's high in their field, the person that's excellent at what they do, they nerd knowers. They don't just think, they know what they're doing. And those who don't know end up working for the person that does know. So when you look at like somebody like Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, all these people, there are nerds to their field. They're nerds when it comes to basketball. Warren Buffett's a nerd when it comes to investing. He's not better than anyone. He just studies investing. He said he reads an article, the New York Post. It's old past. He tries to see patterns. He's constantly learning, constantly reading, constantly educating himself. He's just a nerd when it comes to investing. I'm just a nerd when it comes to success. Kobe just was a nerd when it comes to basketball. Nerds run the world. That's why I wrote the book, The Nerd Who Saved the Universe. So people understand that the word nerd has to have its own switch. It has to change because the nerds run the world. While those who are the cool, the uneducated, that don't read, ends up working for the other person. Again, this is Rich Fontaine. To me, was a powerful message. Either you can agree with me or not agree with me, but either way, I feel that this was such a grateful, successful conversation because we have to educate ourselves, especially people with my skin tone. You have to educate yourself. You have to learn. You have to upgrade your mentality, your awareness, your concepts. Understand how life works. Because if you don't, you'll always end up a victim and working for somebody else. We live in the information age. It's crazy. We live in the information age and people are not bombarding their mind with information. But they are just information that won't be useful for you. That's what they say, seek and ye shall find. The information you need, it won't be just readily given to you. I promise you. It's like McDonald's. It's right around the corner. That's not the best food. But the best restaurants, you have to go and find. You have to talk to people. You have to research. So in my research, I found the best books that completely changed my awareness, my consciousness, lowered my stress level, and helped me become more effective and a better earner because now I'm not just a thinker, but I'm a knower. Appreciate all of you. Love is love. I hope this message served you well. Please like, please share, please comment. Hopefully it touches you in a way because I really want to see you guys succeed. And ladies, love all y'all.